Hello, this is Philip Koerper. Welcome to the Philip Koerper Show. This is episode 68, November 14th. Really excited to be with you guys here today. Want to talk a little bit about the Florida Palm Beach counting that's going on. Oh, guess what? You'll be surprised to hear this. The voting machines are doing the recount so fast, so absolutely fast, that the voting machines overheated. Oh my heavens, they overheated. So now they've got to force another recount of about 175,000 early voters. Oh, people, you thought the elections were over. No, people are still voting, and they're finding boxes of ballots all over the place. Who knows what's going on? I was looking up, I mentioned earlier, I was looking up Cory Booker to see if he is weighing in. The Donald had a really cool push for prison reform today and made a big photo opportunity. And Cory Booker, I don't think, was in the picture. And I thought on Twitter, I know Rand Paul has been working with Cory Booker on this issue, but Cory Booker wasn't there. But anyhow, Cory Booker on Twitter is trying to get any lawyer in the country to try to sign up and volunteer and go down there and look for votes. So anyhow, it's the battle between the Republican lawyers and the Democrat lawyers. They're all going down to Florida to solve that problem. They're also going to Georgia to solve that problem. Off they go. So we're not over yet with the elections. This is frustrating. We want fair elections, hoping that the lawyers and the judges will be fair with this and this will work out. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens there. Speaking of that, there's a lawsuit, that CNN is making against the Donald and his administration about, their Jim Acosta, and how he's losing his First Amendment rights and Fifth Amendment rights. Anyhow, Bob Woodward is no conservative, and he's out criticizing. He's criticizing CNN on this. He said he was criticizing CNN for filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration. And he said the remedy isn't suing the administration, it's more serious reporting about what he's doing. So I like this. More and more people are criticizing CNN for this. And the Donald feels like he is perfectly, whoever is in the press corps, there are some suggestions that we should have lots of other people be in the press corps. Apparently there's a White House press corps association, and they pick who can come and who can go. All right. But the White House has total control over who they visit with and share the news with. So anyhow, this is not there's no freedom of speech that's being prohibited here. That we just don't want Jim Acosta stealing the microphone and not letting anyone else participate. I love it. I think that's a victory that the Donald wins. And I think most Americans, notice how this story, most Americans, there's no outrage here about CNN or Jim Acosta. No, there is none. No one cares. It's really ridiculous. Oh, speaking of that, the caravan is here. Okay, now we've got video of people jumping over the wall and getting from Mexico into the United States. Oh, my heavens. Do you think Americans really like it when people are just flooding into our country? We have video of these young men. I don't see any women and children. Okay, I don't see them trying to declare asylum. Oh, no, they're just jumping over the wall. They say they have jobs and they're going to work in America. They're jumping over the wall into the United States. You think Americans really like that? This lawlessness? Are the Democrats really going to support this lawlessness of just jumping over the border? All these thousands of people are waiting in line to get into the country. They're waiting for their visas. They're trying to come in by merit, or they do legitimately have asylum claims. Those people all waiting. Oh, but these young guys, oh no, screw that. We're just going to jump over the wall. We're coming in. Look out. Make room for us. No. That is not going to go over well, and the Democrats are going to support that. Speaking of that, there's a little clip of the new Senator-elect Kristen Sinema. She is saying in a conversation, she was asked if she was going to work with the GOP on the issues like at the border wall. And she said that she's willing to work with the Republicans on everything. I'll work with anyone on anything. Okay, so she's being pretty optimistic. I like that. So anyhow, she's kind of coming from a purple state of Arizona. It looks like she is going to try to look like she's pretty judicious with that. We'll see. Now, speaking of things that are not judicious, they're thinking about in Detroit, there's a high school named after Ben Carson. But they're thinking about removing his name from the high school because they don't like his politics or the Trump administration. Oh, my. Oh, that's sad. That's very sad. No, they're pretty offended there. So, anyhow, that's kind of a sad news there. I watched a really good video on YouTube by John Stossel. It's entitled Single Payer. He discusses, single payer systems. It looks like there's like 3 really in the world. The Canadian system, the British system, and I think New Zealand. And they really, of course, aren't totally single payer because there is through private money you can get health care in these countries, and then they describe the long lines. When there's a single payer, if in the United States we had a single payer, it's like you go to you're going to have services done at one hairstylist. And, we don't have any control, but basically how they're going to cut our hair. Okay, if we don't like those hairstylists there and there's only one place that cuts our hair, we're all stuck with those barbers. We don't have any choices. We're done with choices. So the single payer systems in these countries, of course, there's a limited amount of funds. And so if you want the fancy things, you're not going to get them. So the wait lines in the emergency rooms are 4 to 10 hours. If you're waiting for total joints or these big elective orthopedic procedures for bad knees or bad hips, the wait line is going to be really long. And we're all just stuck with that. And we really lose our freedom. The trick, as discussed in this video, as I mentioned before, is competition in the marketplace. And the more that Americans control who they can go see, what hospitals. Even hospitals can't be built without a certificate of need. The government can really open things up and deregulate a lot of medicine so we can have competition. So instead of, I can't even pick my health insurance plan. It's really just offered by my employer. I don't have choice. I wish my employer just gave me all that money and then I could go buy my health insurance on my own. If we all did that, there'd be incredible competition. Health insurance companies would be fighting for subscribers to their policies. Oh yeah, lots of competitions. Prices would come down. Competing hospitals would be advertising how much they're going to charge for a total knee arthroplasty. I remember the story that I had. I think I've shared this a while back about I met a nurse, and so she wanted to get gastric bypass surgery. And so what she did is she didn't qualify with her health insurance. And so she went down to Mexico. And there were American doctors in Mexico and an American anesthesiologist. And they, cash price, very affordable. She just paid them. They flew her down there. They flew her down to San Diego. They drove her into Mexico. She had a procedure done. She stayed there for a day and then 2 and then went home. She was super happy. She felt like she got a really good value, great medical care, and she paid cash. That's the kind of thing that would happen. Look at LASIK surgery. The price continues to drop. Look at plastic surgery. A lot of those prices and charges are very competitive because whenever we pay cash for things, the prices really drop because people care about the prices. I put people to sleep all day long. They don't care how much it costs. No one even asks how much it's going to cost. Isn't it? It's a weird world in the hospital where no one considers price. Even I don't even know the cost of certain drugs and things. I try to do research to know, but these things are all even hard for me sometimes to figure out. When I want to use a drug that's a little bit more affordable and works just as well as an expensive drug. All these things. That's the solution to healthcare, is that we introduce more competition into the healthcare system. A single payer system, by definition, will eliminate competition, and it's going to make resources scarce. It's going to encourage overutilization because people don't pay directly for costs. They don't care how much things cost. They want everything, so they demand everything, even if it's not really medically advisable. So John Stossel does a great job of explaining that. And I'm just reminded of how such a failure these single-payer systems are, that are argued by, what's the crazy guy? Bernard Sanders, and also Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And let's talk about her, because she was really worried that she didn't have enough money to get a rental, get an apartment in D.C. so she could be, because she just got elected the House of Representatives. You know, some people are wondering, boy, she can't even manage her own finances. Well, she had someone from Puerto Rico said, "Dear Congressman Jose Andres," whoever this guy is, he says, "You have a room, a shower, and a plate on my family table for as long as you may be in need of one." Well, anyhow, Ocasio and her partner, they said, you know, they have thank you, but no thanks. We don't need it. You know, it looks like in April 2018, she had between $15,000 and $50,000 in her checking account. So it looks like she's got the money to pay for an apartment. But anyhow, whatever. I know it is expensive. I know some congressmen live in their offices in D.C. Because they can't afford, they don't want to pay for the rent there and keep a house back home. But anyhow, it's a funny story that she's complaining about funding and kind of almost asking for a handout. So whatever, typical Democrat fashion. What's on Donald's Twitter feed today? Well, it's great. I was talking about this legislation that he's supporting, and it's just about prison reform. It's a big photo op. There's Rand Paul and Mike Lee. Lots of, Scott from South Carolina or North Carolina's there. Looks like some other Republicans. So anyhow, the Donald's working on prison reform. That's great. You know, I was hoping that Cory Booker would be in this picture, because I know he's been a big proponent of this. No, but it looks like it's just going to be a partisan thing, and it's not going to, I don't see any bipartisanship there. Oh, speaking of some non-bipartisanship, remember I told you about the story that Tucker Carlson revealed about his daughter, teenage daughter, being really harassed and yelled at and cussed at by this person in this country club. Well, it turns out, lo and behold, that guy who was booted out of the country club is on the board of directors of the Women's Initiative. Okay, wow. So anyhow, and so this women's group is refusing to speak about their board of director member. Oh, believe all women. You know, what about Tucker Carlson's daughter? Are we going to believe her? Oh, no, wait. Remind me. No, we only believe in leftist women. No, and when they're going after conservatives, that's all we believe in. So that's interesting. And speaking of that, Michael Avenatti, what is going on with him? Oh, my heavens. He's in L.A. police custody. Oh, poor Michael Avenatti, this crazy lawyer who wants to run for president, who brought all these women up against Brett Kavanaugh. Oh, he was the lawyer of Stormy Daniels. Okay, whatever that lady's name is. I should just use her real name, not her trade name, so she's making a bunch of money off of all the publicity. But anyhow, yeah, he defended Stormy Daniels. Well, anyhow, he had a domestic violence incident Tuesday and took a report. But Avenatti was taken into custody. The police responded to this incident. So anyhow, it looks like he's in custody. So the poor guy, he's in trouble. He is really crazy. I was mentioning Cory Booker. I went to his Twitter feed. Well, he's sitting next to Lewis, and then, it looks like he's in the Black Caucus here. He's got that on his profile picture. He's really excited about that. But no, he's on here trying to recruit lawyers for Florida. Go down and find some votes. So anyhow, I was talking about that women's organization, that the guy who was going after Tucker Carlson's daughter. I wanted to mention a little bit. I was listening to a podcast today, which really I think is so true. And so we're talking about yesterday, I think we were talking about equality, women and men equality, or maybe it was a few podcasts ago. This has been really an issue. I know in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there are some women who do not feel, they feel like men, since they lead the church, that women are being really short-sighted here, and that they're being, they're not in power, and that they're dominated by the men, and they're not equal. They don't feel like in church they don't feel equal. Now, that is not really church doctrine. We talk about men and women are equal, and that we do have different responsibilities. So instead of just worried about our rights all the time, we worry about our responsibilities. So men and women have different roles and different responsibilities sometimes. Now, sometimes we share responsibilities, like, for example, in raising families or providing for a living, these things. But where are women really treated equally from men? I mean, where is that? And I make the argument that it's Christianity that really, the role of women in Christianity that's where that equal treatment is found. You look at some other faiths that they don't treat people equally. For example, in Saudi Arabia, just recently, the women in Saudi Arabia were allowed to drive, I think just last year. And that's not without a lot of protest to the kingdom. So women owning property, their rights, women get beat up and killed if they're caught cheating on their husbands. We've got female mutilation going on with these Muslim countries. Even these Muslim people here in the United States are being arrested for that. So incredible, the dress, the burqa, issues like that. But in Christianity, we really embrace women just as men, and we really, I think, wholeheartedly should do treat them as equals. Christianity really originates with Adam and Eve and God loving them, and these are the children of God. We are brothers and sisters. We are equal in the eyes of God. I really believe that. And so I think when we know our divine roles and when we know our purposes in life, as men and women, we can fulfill those purposes. And we're definitely equal in the eyes of God. I want to share a scripture which talks about that in 2 Nephi in the Book of Mormon, chapter 26, verse 33. For none of these iniquities come of the Lord, for he doth not which is good among the children of men, and he doeth nothing save it be plain unto the children of men. And he inviteth them all to come unto him and partake of his goodness. And he denieth none that come unto him, black and white, bond and free, male and female, and he remembereth the heathen, and all are alike unto God, both Jew and Gentile. I love that. Black and white, bond and free, male and female, he remembereth the heathen. Notice how God believes in just two genders. So true. This is the Philip Koerper Show. I'm Philip Koerper, copyright 2018. You can subscribe on iTunes or at SoundCloud, or watch the Philip Koerper Show on YouTube. You guys have a great day. Thank you.